about what we show you during this trial, but we want to warn you, some viewers may find these details a bit disturbing. Story we've been following now for a year and a half. The suspect Taylor Schabusiness accused of the murder of Shad Therian in February of 2022.
Schabusiness now on trial for first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. Police were called to the home on Stony Brook Lane after a call came in saying that Therian's mom found her son's head in a bucket in the basement. What was left for experts to discover makes up much of today's testimony.
In a First Alert update, Brittany Schmidt shows us the timeline testified to in court today, starting with an emergency call from the home.
Underway.
For the first time, jurors are learning what prompted this type of emergency response to this home on Stony Brook Lane in the early morning hours of February 23rd, 2022. The boyfriend of Shad Therian's mother made this call for help.
I have no clue what's happening with my girl. Swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Did you go down there?
In a bucket. I kind of look freaked out.
Okay. Did she just wake up and say that?
Yeah.
Police body camera footage shows responding officers go right to the basement to the bucket.
Dude, it is.
The other officer confirms as well.
Hold on, just... That's real, right? That's real.
Backup is immediately called and investigators rush in to secure the scene. This is where the state argues during opening statements that Taylor Schabusiness strangled and killed Shad Therian.
She reports that afterwards, that law enforcement would have fun finding all the body parts that are located throughout the basement. Told law enforcement where to find certain body parts. Like I said, it wasn't obvious to law enforcement who initially respond to that basement what happened.
In a short period of time, it kind of came into perspective that we weren't looking for a whole body. And then we knew we were going to be doing a recovery of multiple parts.
Brown County's medical examiner's office found human remains in 4 different containers in the basement.
Did you know if parts were missing?
Yes.
What did you know was missing from the body?
So as we were going, we were trying to make sure that at least the remains that we were finding were consistent with one person. And by the time we were done processing the human remains in the basement, we seemed to be missing a significant portion of the lower limbs.
Investigators say they were found in a crock-pot box in a vehicle Schabusiness drove to her apartment before being confronted by police.
You'll see that encounter, how the defendant is essentially literally caught red-handed, blood on her hands.
The defense reminding the jury not to jump to conclusions until they hear all the testimony and evidence in this case.
Don't rush to judgment. Please keep an open mind. Listen to all the facts, listen to what every witness has to say carefully and weigh what they have to say. And remember, there's always 2 sides to every story.
Shad's mother and sister testified today in court, but we are not identifying them because they are victims.
Yep, really disturbing. This is crazy, happened in Wisconsin last year. So I actually watched, the trial because it was on Law and Crime Network. They showcase a lot of high-profile cases. And the state versus Taylor Schabusiness, right? So the state, for the most part, they did a really good job with the opening statements and also to interviewing the witnesses, like the homicide detectives were there, of course, the police officers that responded. And it was just shaking, man. It was just, oh my goodness. I had to commend those officers. I know they had to respond to it, but you can easily get PTSD from that. Seriously. When they went down there and they found a severed head, I'm like, oh my goodness. And so what was determined too is that she had marijuana in her system, methamphetamine, and transing. She had that in her system. So I don't know if the drug, it could have been the drugs that did it, but it was super sadistic. Strangle him with a chain and just dismember his body. I couldn't believe it. This is a really gruesome thing. The state, they presented the evidence there, and it is what it is. She's caught dead in her rights, literally. So these are appropriate charges here, and I just lost the words right now. So I know day 2 tomorrow, we still got to go in here and look at it and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have more witnesses going ahead with the stand here. But Shane, Shad, the victim here, his sister actually testified. She was like about 17 years old, and she was just stating that, yeah, she knew her, and she used to come over sometimes, but of course she wasn't present when this happened. And can't believe it. They were super close to each other, her and her brother. And for this to happen to her brother, man, it's just it's traumatizing in so many levels. So I pray that this family get the most justice, literally. And the crazy part is that on her court date, one of the photos, she ended up assaulting one of her attorneys. So she got a new attorney that's representing her, man. So I couldn't even represent this woman if I had to. I don't care how much you pay me. At the end of the day, they don't have the death penalty, because this is like similar to Jeffrey Dahmer, even though Jeffrey Dahmer did so, oh my goodness, sadistic as hell. But with her in this case here, the feds get into it, the death penalty needs to be there. I mean, these type of people here don't need to exist, right? She was even smiling. I was looking at her, mannerisms, just smiling, don't even care, when they was actually showing the photos, of, the different places in the containers, right? And the layman, which is represents the fingerprints and things of that nature that was going on, and that she disposed some of the body parts in bags, containers, totes. It was ridiculous, man. So I just want to say the state did a good job presenting this, and I'm gonna go ahead probably cover more of it on day 2. And we got to see what's going to happen. 16 men, women in the jury, and go ahead and decide. But I believe this is definitely a no-brainer, and it's surmountable evidence that she did this. But yeah, this is super gruesome. So hopefully this video will still be up here on YouTube and TikTok. But that's all we have to say. You guys continue to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. I want your thoughts on this too as well. If you guys have been following the case here, I just want to know. We can have a good discussion. Just keep it respectful. I'm out. Deuces.